a lot more people need to use social media lives the way streamers use Twitch.
Yep.
Like, everybody doesn't go live because they think they have to do something. I think you should go live while you're eating lunch. Attention is the #1 asset. Vayner Nation, what is good? It is time again for Podcast with Friends, where I bring people from different worlds doing cool shit, and we just kind of chop it up. I'm excited about this episode. We're gonna talk about a bunch of different themes, but first, like the last episode, which I thought really hit, I wanna make sure that our friends here get a little bit of time to let all of you know who they are, what they're up to, what their journey's about. So we're gonna start with ladies first here. Why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are and what you do?
Hello, Vayner Nation. My name is Yena Kim. I have the weirdest, maybe not the weirdest job now, but I have a very weird job. My Shiba Inu went viral 10 years ago, so I dress him up in menswear. I have a history in fashion. I used to design for Ralph Lauren, but then I quit my dream job because I wanted to spend time with my dog. So here I am, still at it, and I've had the most incredible time and been able to meet the most incredible people. So I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Tell me about the brand that you make that I rock with very heavily.
So the brand is called Menswear Dog, and we dress up my Shiba Inu, and we actually adopted a Jindo as well. So he's learning the chops of how to style and wear clothing, but I put menswear in on dogs, and basically it's like a fresh new way of looking at fashion. Like traditionally, I feel like sometimes you look at these like models with like six-pack and you're a little bit intimidated by the ad. But when a dog is wearing menswear, first of all, it's a dog, so you're like, yes, cool. Appeals to all demographics, and also like on another level, you see the styling because it's no longer a human being, so you're able to see the products.
Yes.
So in that way, we've been able to sort of showcase menswear like lifestyle items in different sort of like fun, interesting ways.
I love that.
And the best part is like I love spending time with my dogs. So every post is like a memory of like, oh, I remember that day when Bodhi went somewhere and he peed on this person's carpet and I had to apologize, but then we had so much fun later. So that's sort of like the joy that I get from it. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I think you're just such a great example of like what my belief is that people are scared to make leaps and do different shit because nobody's ever done it or they're worried about judgment. Mm-hmm. But the only way to like actually create meaningful shit, and most of all, deep joy, is to do it your way. Right? And
absolutely.
So, like I'm sure like if I read what's going on, just all the people listening on the podcast, remember we are always live with Podcasts with Friends on Twitch. Go to GaryVee.com/Twitch. Big shout out to everyone in there. When I look at Mix123Go to Go and John Carney and all the people in here, Katie Teacher, like, when they hear like, wait a minute, is she saying that she's got like dude wear, but she puts it on a dog first? Like that's just different. And like many people think it's silly and many people think it's super dope. But for me, what's most interesting is you love it.
Yeah.
Like that's actually, I believe, the fuel that gives anyone the chance to actually pull it off. I feel like there's two ways to pull shit off. Fuel that is based on like joy and gratitude and you fucking just, you're in your shit. And the other one is like dark shit, like Star Wars, like Darth Vader, like envy, jealousy, anger. You got to prove something to the world. You're going to show your mom that you're not a piece of shit. Real shit. Like you're going to, like real shit, like all the stuff that I think, and you can get there. The problem is the people that get there through the dark side can't sustain it. Right? So like everyone's trying to make it. The problem is most people don't realize once you make it, you also want to sustain it. Because if you make it the dark way, envy, jealousy, anger, chips on it's going to get real dark.
Yeah, keep it that way too.
Yeah, because once you get fame and money and or money and you got up the game in the dark way, shit gets really dark.
I don't know if you would consider this the dark side of it, but like I had no savings or no backup plans, and I actually don't have family in New York. So if this didn't work out, then I'd really be in trouble.
No,
I just went for it.
Really
I don't have to pay rent.
No. I think the dark side is the reason you want to be successful is you got scorned by someone in 11th grade, and like your fuel is I'm going to show Sally instead of this is my passion.
Yeah.
The dark side is like you have jealous DNA and parents that taught you jealousy, and you're just coming up the game. And the reason you want to be successful is you're mad at everybody else being successful, and just not a good energy of why you want to grow. You're not driven by gratitude or joy.
Right.
So no, I think
by external factors.
Yeah, I think exactly. It's external versus internal.
Yeah.
And like I think I don't think yours is the dark side. I think here's what would have happened. Quote unquote, if it didn't work out, you would have gotten a job.
That's true.
Like,
that's true.
Like, no, I'm proud of you, and like I want more people to go do that, because I think most people don't jump because they're scared of what people think about their jump.
Yeah.
Like most people should jump, especially in their youth, because if it doesn't work out, you can just go back to the thing that you're not enjoying right now that is making you want to jump. My man.
For sure. What's up, everybody? My name is Obed Padilla. I'm from Oceanside, California. I'm an artist, producer, musician, singer, songwriter, a little bit of everything.
Oof,
but yeah,
amazing.
Thank you.
Tell us more. Build on that. How'd you come up? What's been your most like successful thing at this point from your perspective, or maybe from the market's perspective?
So
like, where are you at?
Me and my boys have been doing these like cinematic 1-minute videos, and they've been going viral.
Yeah.
That's been what's going on. But that's been
How did that go
crazy.
down? How did that happen?
We just had this idea this summer that we were like, hey, let's just do these short videos. And we're going to do 1 week after another and keep posting them. And came up with these concepts, and then they took off.
What was the first concept?
The first one was me outside of my car kind of working on it, and then all of a sudden I come out and start rapping, and then go back to fixing the car. And basically it was like this take on hip-hop. A lot of it is like rah-rah flashy, and I wanted to kind of showcase blue collar, you know, and like my everyday life of like what I see, you know.
And did that one hit, or did
that one hit
right off the top?
Right off the top.
So you guys had this thesis, real life, not the music playing. Boom, you go into it. Boom, you go back to it, and it just worked.
Yeah.
Did anything inspire that y'all like elements that you saw in other shit?
Just our surroundings, like where I'm from, and you know. My pops is he's a pastor, but also he was a gardener, so I used to go work with him every morning. And so just seeing that, and all of our parents, all of our the jobs, like especially Latinos, you know, of
course,
that's what we see. And so I wanted to.
That's how my upbringing came. Like I was born in a different country, and like it was merchant life, right? Just like people own bodegas. My dad owned a liquor store, and like at 14, I worked every fucking Saturday, stocking shelves for 10 hours a day. Work ethic is ingrained in immigrant mindset.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's our biggest advantage.
Definitely.
It's not every, I know unlimited lazy immigrants, and I know unlimited people that aren't immigrants that work hard. But the advantage of immigrant life is you see up close and personal that work ethic is the variable.
For sure.
Complaining is the weapon of choice of many. Immigrants tend not to. Usually because wherever they came from is not as good as here. Real talk.
Definitely.
Not everything is perfect here, but there's a reason people fucking come here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My man.
Hey, my name is Alan King. I run a fashion brand called A Kings. The easiest way to describe us now is we make you feel like a king. So I push
That's
push
a tag
confidence.
right there.
Yeah. I push a lot of confidence and growth through the brand, and think about when we first came from, and I also got very lucky in terms of one of my first products went viral. We had a curved jean that a friend of a friend posted on Reddit, and you know, that was my first introduction to social media, seeing the community of /raw denim just kind of coming and finding my website, and getting early pre-order traction from that.
So you had a pre-order product out, someone posted it in a proper denim Reddit channel, and all of a sudden you just like wake up and shit's just like pinging off in your fucking Shopify?
Yeah, well, this is pre-Shopify. This is pre-Shopify.
So
this
however you get notified.
Wow,
Yeah, I was using Shopify.
What is that?
Yeah. By the way, I know I launched an e-commerce site in 1997 where the server was in my dad's liquor store's closet, and when the power would go out because of a rainstorm in the neighborhood, the website would go down. Like it was
wild.
It was. I mean, in 1997, back to early e-commerce war stories, we still didn't have our shopping cart proper. So I probably took 10 phone calls a day in 1999, walking people through how to get through the shopping cart. Like shit that you kids take for granted. Yeah. People are like, yo, I'm stuck. I'm like, you got to put the credit card in. They're like, literally, like real talk, like OG war stories of e-commerce. And then people are like, well, I don't trust it. Like people don't get it. Like all the Web3 stuff right now with MetaMask, they're like, I'm like, this is how Web 1 was. People were scared to put the credit card in. Okay, so you had that. Did you know the post was coming, or did you just wake up to action on the pre-orders?
I just woke up to the traffic.
You saw the emails? How'd you, I'm actually genuinely curious how you first smelled some shit's popping off. Emails?
Yeah, it was the email orders, and then I saw the traffic, and I was like, oh, where's the traffic coming from?
Truly phone, you look and you hit, like, you open your email thing, and there's like 67 messages, you're like, what the fuck? And you see they're all orders?
It wasn't like 67 messages right away, but it was just, I'm on my email, and, I wasn't getting much orders at the time.
Right, so you were working, like, your email's open, and it's like, bing. You're like, oh, yeah, awesome, got one.
Yeah.
And bing.
Yeah.
And probably by the third bing, you're like, yo, something's happening, right? Yeah.
Like serotonin's happening.
Yeah. Because before then, there was no, it was just all friends that knew I was posting.
There's really nothing like, and you just went through it with the video, there's really nothing like the moment where you're feeling something for the first time that it's happening, especially when you've been building.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember that moment. It's like,
what was your moment?
So I actually just took a picture of my dog as a joke, because I was bored and I had samples.
It's also what you do,
and it's what I do because I'm a weirdo. And then I posted on my Facebook. And my friends were like, "You need to just put this on Tumblr." Tumblr was like,
I remember
big those days.
Look
Instagram.
Right there. I was an early investor in Tumblr.
Yes. And so, just posted it thinking nothing. And then the next day, we had thousands of notifications. It was like, do. And then the day after, we got invited to go to Anderson Cooper or something. It happened within 2 days. And I was like, this is really fast. This happens really quickly. So, yeah, I remember just thinking,
How did the brand start? Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Chinatown, Lower East Side. And the brand started for me because I fell in love with fashion through mostly reselling. So
flipping?
The rise, flipping, buying and selling sneakers.
Like Supremes and Air Force and Jordans.
Yeah.
Got it. You started that when?
I started this when I was 14, 13,
flipping.
14. Yeah.
Staying in how old are you?
I'm 26 now.
So you caught the tail end of standing in line, or you did it all online?
I was mostly, I didn't really believe in standing in line. I caught the Facebook group. So this is after the forums. I caught the Facebook group communities. And then I would basically, this is pre-StockX, so you can find pricing.
Yeah, there was ARBs.
Yeah,
there was tons of ARBs.
So I would see, the sneaker is $220. This guy's willing to sell it, but it's actually going for $300. And I would buy it from him and then sell it.
Yep.
And just meet somebody up 10 minutes away. Yeah.
And that was the game.
Yeah.
And then at what point were you like, one day I want to do my own brand?
Yeah, I actually, it was a very clear moment. I think it was 15 years old, and I walked by Bape and Y3.
Yeah.
And I just saw the all over
energy.
branding, the energy and the lines, and I was like, wow, this is so different than anything else I've seen in fashion. And
Boyd, you remember when you met AJ? Boyd and AJ, my brother AJ, met freshman year of college in 2009. 2005.
Yeah.
2005. And the funniest thing I think about their freshman year is how much Bape AJ wore. He wore it constantly. He was obsessed. So the energy, and you were like, fuck, I want this.
Yeah, I think it started as a very simple idea, actually. It was just, I want to build something. I felt like there was something missing, too. Skinny jeans wasn't necessarily a huge thing. I was extremely skinny, and I had to tailor my jeans, and I was like, there's something missing maybe in the market that I can create. And I just started with basic screen printing T-shirts, and I tried to make I had another product that went semi-viral. It was a ninja hoodie where I put a scarf in a hoodie, and then I just thought that I just kept creating, and then I knew that one day I wanted to create a brand, but the first product that kind of caught traction just randomly was this curved pant that was called a J-shaped pant.
And just went.
Yeah.
And that started it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about most these days? I'm going to get these VeeFriends packs out. We're going to play a game in a minute, but let's go back around the horn. What are you thinking about most these days? If I was real talk, if we were best friends since we were 3 and we caught up for dinner because we're both busy and we've had 100 days since we really chopped it up. Obviously, we've been texting. and I was like, yo, what's most going on? Like, what are you most contemplating? What's either most exciting? What are you most concerned about? What are you trying to figure out? What's most on your mind right now?
I feel like this year for me has been a year of connection, reconnection, and kind of like internal contemplation. We are living in a really fast society, and we live in New York City, which is even faster. Yes. And I think in the churn and the grind, it's easy to sort of lose track of what the goal is, where you're headed, you know. So this year I tried to be really intentional and spend lots of time with family and friends. And the balance is really what I'm striking, the balance of health, of work, of people, of being there for myself spiritually. So yeah, just kind of trying to
find the middle.
I don't want to say optimize, because that sounds really marketing-y for my own life, but that's been on my mind lately.
Right, you're trying to find the middle, right? Because you have ambition and you're trying to build, but you don't want to be in a place where like you just wake up one morning and be like, what the fuck did I do this for?
Yeah.
It feels soulless.
Absolutely. And success to me, I think, is like everyone has their own version of success. And I'm trying to really fine tune what that is for me. And really, everyone, I think, could benefit from figuring out, you know, is my success really money? Is it really fame, or is it whatever?
It's never money.
Because it really depends on your background,
it's
too.
It's money at first, especially if you didn't come from it. You're completely seduced by thinking, because it's always happiness.
Yeah,
that's
true.
But you think money unlocks the happiness because you grew up in a household where money stress made everything fucked up. This is why I always say the kid that is born in a household with no money, but is happy and their parents are happy all day in those first 5, 6, 3 years, she and he is the gangster of the world. Because they were taught from the get that money's not the anecdote.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm aware why I'm a happy person. I was raised by a mother that was pure sunshine and happiness and everything is good regardless. Gratitude, don't want shit, never put material shit on a pedestal, never talk shit about anyone, never feed anyone. It was just all fucking love, love, love.
That's
and we
amazing.
didn't have shit. Lived in Queens in a studio apartment like this office with 6, 7, 8 family members, depending on how everyone was coming over from Russia at the time. And I thought we had it great. I didn't have shit. Like by 10, I was like on my own, meaning my parents would maybe buy me like a Hanukkah present, but like, and a birthday present. But kids, like I didn't even know kids got things not on their birthday or a big holiday. Yeah. And so I became unstoppable, and that's what I wish on people. But to your point, like what are you aiming for? Like, you know, people think it's money, and I understand. Every time I say money doesn't buy you happiness, I get bombarded. Big shout out to all the first-time chatters, Steven667890, saying hi, Gary, as a first-time chatter on Twitch. All the people in there, as we're talking right now, I'm focusing on y'all, but I know 1 or 2 or 3 people have been like, fuck that, I'll take the money. I get it. I get it. I grew up in my whole life, I grew up in lower middle class neighborhoods my whole life. So I know how people see it. I just also am 48 fucking years old and have really lived it. And I've lived around nothing. I've lived around nothing but poverty and wealth my whole life at this point, now that I've lived my 48, and it's just crystal fucking clear. I don't envy I don't judge. I have no judgment on anyone who's like, fuck you, Gary, I'm going for that paper. I need a fucking Lambo. Go do you. But just talk to me when you do. Can't wait to chop it up 5 years after you got paper.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it then.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what are you doing it for? I think what all of us need to do it for is to wake up every single morning and feel decent. Not every day is going to be awesome. By the way, full transparency, yesterday was one of my I get 10 weird days a year, real talk, where I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like. I don't even know what it was. Maybe the Jets season was over. I got some stresses at work. I'm a human. I got life. And it was just like kind of like I had to grind through yesterday a little bit more. Like literally 345 days a year, I'm coasting, perspective, happy. Everything can go wrong. I'm like, I'm good. As long as like the 5 or 7 people I love the most in the world are healthy, fuck all this shit. Yesterday kind of just like, yesterday was rainy, right? Weather fucks me. It was raining in the morning, right? It was like it was like, I don't know, like just, and so like, you know, even, it's so ironic we're talking about this. The fact that I got to taste it a little bit yesterday for a couple hours, I was good by midday. Yeah. I kind of got out of it. I was like, okay, Like, this is what I don't want for people. Plus, I lived it my whole childhood. I'm looking at my report card up there. Like, every Monday.
Wait, where? I'm definitely going to look at it after.
My man, take that down. Big man, take it down. I want them to see it. This was 12 years of my life, and really was about 8 or 9. That's my report card.
Is your teacher's name on it?
You can get stuck in that momentum of being in that headspace.
How did I not?
No, I said you can get. I think that's a lot of people's,
That's 90% of the world. 90% of the world has decided it's bad. Yeah. The reason I was able to get out yesterday, how crazy is that?
You've gotten A's consistently in phys ed. Congratulations.
That's right. I'm called the gym class hero. I got 5 A's in my life in high school. 4 in gym and 1 in health senior year. I got a D in health once. I think most of the world does that, my man. All I want, the reason the 4 of us are sitting here is all I want to do is put deposits down every day to try to help. There's 458 people on Twitch right now. In a year after we keep doing this, there'll be 4,000. And whether it's 458, 4,001, all I want, I'm just looking right now, right? Whether it's Pink Hair Mutant, right? Whether it's Petra G55, whether it's Hi Anthony 417, if one fucking person in the hour that we all allocated to this hears one thing from one of the 4 of us that allows them to stop it.
Yeah.
Everyone's in it, my man. Because the world is really good at scaring you.
For sure.
It's the politician's fault. It's your parents' fault. It's the government's fault. It's this famous people's fault. It's the algorithm's fault. It's your boss's fault. All it tells you is it's everyone's fault, when meanwhile, you are in full control of your happiness. You don't like the president? Move to Sweden. Real talk. Like, you are actually in control. I was born in the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union is like North Korea. People in North Korea right now can't leave. Cannot leave. A country that is a jail. I was born in one of those places. From 1917 to 1991, people could not leave. Except for a few political things. The way I got out was there was a big event, and Israel and Spain and America got together and made a deal with Russia because it was starting to get poor. Nobody knew it yet because they spent all their money on fucking bombs instead of fucking food, and they fucked up. But like, my grandmother didn't get to, like, my great-grandparents got to America when they were 70. They lived in jail their whole life. Wow. Country that was jail. Yeah. Like, people just don't have gratitude. My mom lost her mom at 5. My dad lost his dad at 15. Yeah. Like, I just don't know. Like, there's just unlimited fucking hardships, and people are complaining about dumb shit. I'm not a millionaire. Like, how do I get out of it, and how am I trying to get people out of it? By talking about perspective and gratitude. Everyone's spending all their time on what they don't have. Meanwhile, you have. I'm on the board of Charity Water, a nonprofit that gets water in Africa to places that don't have access to clean water. We had the gala last week. There's 753 million people on Earth, almost 10% of the Earth, that do not have access to clean water. The women, like, little girls don't go to school because at 12, they start walking 10 miles with a bucket on their head to go to a place to get clean water and walk back, and it takes the entire day. The fuck are people talking about that are on fucking Twitch? Or who have a fucking cell phone? If you have a $1,000 computer in your fucking hands, shut your fucking mouth. We need more gratitude. We're fucking spoiled out here.
Yeah.
And you know what always happens, right? You complain about all this dumb shit until some real shit goes down. And then you change your tune. God forbid someone in your family is terminally ill or suddenly dies. All of a sudden you're not worried about that you didn't sell 1 million hoodies, or that you didn't, or that somebody you're competing with got the cosign from Drake and you didn't. All of a sudden you change your tune when your grandma's dead.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I don't want people to have terrible life events to get their perspective right. I'd rather us get our perspective right in conversations like this. Thoughts on that?
I also feel like adversity is kind of, if I was to, you know, have a kid and say, I want this kid to be the greatest person on earth, I wouldn't give them an easy life.
Of course.
I would want them to have different challenges And the bigger challenges will make them more resilient.
Of course.
And I think it'll make them more inventive,
but it gets
innovative.
hard. It gets hard because your parents love you. And like, I have children. You want it to be good for you. Love them more than breathing.
Yeah.
It's really easy to talk about, I'm going to make it tougher on my kid until you have one.
Yeah.
And then you love that shit more than you love anything in the world. And you're like, you almost can't help. You could see it happening, but you can't. Look at the... You're talking about resilience for a kid. Your dog is bougie as fuck.
Actually, my dog's the worst example because he hasn't done anything for himself in his whole life. But I feel like he's a dog, so I can treat him that way.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like real talk. Your dog is like insecure as fuck in its tummy, but you don't know it because they can't talk.
No,
this is why we love dogs.
Actually super cocky. Like you'll see when he comes over.
But fake cockiness. If he had it too light, he's a dog in New York wearing expensive clothes. I promise you, if you went to Newark right now and found a dog outside, that dog would fuck your dog up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like a kitten could like get him.
Thoughts on this?
I think that I just think about my folks. So my mom came here from Mexico. My dad came here from Costa Rica. And like I think about them at my age, like I can't imagine being in a completely different country and that perspective to where I'm like, I really can't complain about anything either. Do
you complain?
Yeah, of course.
About what normally? Like right now, how old are you?
29.
Where at this point in your life, if you're, if we're being vulnerable and trying to bring value to the audience, where do you feel like your head goes to yourself? Where do you feel like you complain about?
I think other people.
Yeah, good. I love you for that. meaning other people's success that you want or other people's actions towards you?
I think actions, and then also I look at certain people and I'm like, duh. Like,
talk it through. I want more. I want them to understand. I know where you're going, but I want them to hear this. Talk it through. Talk it.
You see other people and the things that they complain about and the things that are so important to them, but then they don't even understand what's going on in their head, but it's such a big issue.
And what do you do about that? Because this is the part that I'm most interested in. In a world where I think most people see people doing dumb shit and they go, duh, I'm trying to figure out how to get cool people like you to deploy compassion and empathy and try to help them. Like, I think we've lost our neighbor civility thing.
For sure.
I think we're all in our shit. I think you're right. I just walk, because I think everything should be pure simple, everything's duh to me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't deal with people not being nice. All I see is people not being nice around dumb shit. This Starbucks, literally there's Starbucks underneath my house. I saw somebody reaming out the Starbucks person there's 900 fucking people in the store. We're in fucking Hudson Yards. Like, give the kid a fucking minute. Like, your life is that bad that you want to shit on a fucking person pouring you the wrong milk in the coffee? I bring it up all the time because it always triggers me. People literally yelling that they didn't get the almond milk and they gave them oat milk. Right? Like, real shit.
Do you feel like that's projection?
Everything's projection.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going with him on this of like, we're lucky and we got good perspective because your mom and dad, all that. I think we got to stop judging people. Because if you make it, like the way I want you to, your kid, no matter how hard you try, you can't fake environment.
For sure.
And so your kid's going to be duh.
Yeah. Truly.
That's what happens with like the immigrant parents come over, build a little foundation. Number 2 comes in, fucking builds it. And number 3 gets the payoff, but it's the fake payoff to your point. Because they're the most insecure of the bunch.
Yeah.
Your parents are the strongest of the bunch because they lived in some shit and were just like grateful for what they fucking had. You got Americanized and see all, especially in the rap game, and see, you're a kid, you're 29, like you're coming up, you're seeing things, you got ambitions.
Definitely.
It's starting to happen right now. But like, my big thing is like, I don't want to be duh towards people. I want to like put my hand on their shoulder and be like, yo, be grateful. I want to make kindness and gratitude and all this like warm shit cool.
I think that's fire.
I think so.
My other point that I was going to say was, if I can't do that, then just me being like, oh, I'm not going to act that way.
Love that.
Like being that for somebody else, Of
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yo, you may act that way, but I'm not. I'm cool
love
about
that.
that,
I love that. And by the way, Real talk, I get that's the only thing that goes through my head. Duh. But it's pure projection. The best thing that's gone for me is anytime I see hate towards me or anybody else, I go deep into compassion. Straight compassion. I'm like, that person's hurt.
Yeah.
And we don't have that gear right now.
For sure.
We're in full fight. You see something you don't like, you fight them back. Everyone's trying to convince everyone to see the world the way this is why politics is all fucked up. Yeah. As if your worldview is how every other person should see it. We all have different experiences. Let's open these cards while you answer this. Here's this card. So this is the VeeFriends card game on Podcast with Friends. You're gonna look at the cards and I wanna know which character, and then we'll go to you. Which character you most resonate that you pulled? Damn, I got a good pack. I feel like three of them for me really pop. I'm gonna have to debate this. I'll talk mine out while you guys think. I got hardworking wombat, which I really fuck with because I think hard work is the fucking variable. I got decisive duck, which is not only cute as shit. Look at the eyes. Decisive duck is not only cute as shit, but I really do think decisiveness is a superpower. I think people wallow too much. And then maybe my favorite character of them all, Ambitious Angel. Ambition is fucking real.
I got that too.
You got Ambitious Angel? Nice. Ambitious Angel's a beast. She's a gangster in this world of VeeFriends. This is my Pokemon meets Marvel meets Sesame Street world. All right, ladies.
Guess what I got as my first card? A dog.
Let's go. Poised Pug.
I got Poised Pug, which is very appropriate because dogs. I got Skilled Skeleton. I've got Focused Falcon, which I'm working on this year, focusing better. Well-rounded Warthog, which also kind of alludes to the conversation about balance.
You got to pick one. This is real life shit here. Yeah. No political correctness. You got to pick one. By the way, I'm going to go with hardworking wombat. I think we're demonizing hard work a little bit too much. That's not. Again, like, I don't believe in burnout. I don't believe in any of that shit. That's crazy. But too many people think you can build something without hard work all of a sudden, and that's fucked up.
I picked well-rounded Warthog.
I love that.
Yeah.
Trying to be more well-rounded.
Yeah, because I want to be happy.
Hell fucking yes.
Yeah.
My man?
I got Ambitious Angel.
Yep.
Meticulous Magpie.
Yep.
Wild Wallaby. And Keen Kingfisher.
So where are we going?
I'm going with Kingfisher.
You like the Kingfisher?
Yeah.
I love that. Little down under bird. I love that. All right.
I have a enamored emu.
Yep.
Gifted golfer. Legit llama. And whimsical wolf. And I'm going to go with the wolf.
You like the way it looks?
Yeah, I like the way it looks.
The tail is fire. I drew all these characters.
Oh, okay.
So they all started off looking like that. I drew all of them. And then we converted them into this thing. So back to the conversation we're having at hand. What do you think about the last 5-10 minutes of this podcast? Like, what pops up in your head about what you see? You grew up in, your culture, in the flip game. Like, I know that world super well because I grew up in it in a different era, and obviously I know a lot of the kids consume my content in that ecosystem. New York City vibes down there. Like, what's your take on everything you just heard?
Yeah. I think that for me, I grew up with hard work instilled in me. I think coming from immigrant parents as well, and also just doing things. Like it was just a very common thing for me to just do things that I didn't like to do. Like, it was completely just like, hey, like, you have to do these things. So let's say if I
notice how they're like. I want to let you keep going because I don't want to interrupt you because I get excited and do that, but fuck that. I love you for what you're saying. Keep building on that. Like, doing shit you don't want to was like not even something we thought was debatable, and now everyone thinks is in play.
Yeah. Now it feels like
we're all
a lot of 13-year-olds think they have choices. We didn't think that way.
Yeah, so I think that, growing up with that idea, like knowing that, hey, like I have to do these things, and, life may not necessarily be easy at the moment, but, life isn't necessarily meant to be easy. And there like challenges, the way I think about it as I build the brand and everything else I'm doing is that, if life was easy, everybody would be able to get to where I am or where I want to be. But there's God.
Do you think there's an underlying delusion out there? Like that you could just wish your way to, like, or do you feel like it's entitlement? Do you think here's a good question. the thing that we're all touching on. Do you think it's delusion or do you think it's entitlement? Do you think people think they can get to where they want to get to without putting it in? Or do you think that they've grown up in an environment and in a culture where they think they deserve it without doing the work?
I think it's just that we see the reward just right in front of us all the time without everything behind it, right? Like if you look at
But real quick, I apologize to interrupt because it's a big argument. Everyone says, "Oh, social media, we just see." I'm like, "Yo, I grew up on MTV Cribs." Like it wasn't like television. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous was the biggest TV show when I was a kid. It's this narrative that everybody wants to play now. That like, oh, we're all fucked up on this because we just see chains and bottles and models and wealth and yeah. I'm like, so did we. So did we. Period.
But you didn't feel like you were entitled to it in a sense. Yeah.
We just, first of all, we didn't think there was no idea that you could without a long time. Like what changed was Mark Zuckerberg became a billionaire at 25. The internet changed everything and kids started to believe that they could get it fast.
Right.
Like we knew, like when I was coming up, I was that guy. At 14, I'm like everyone in my school knew like this dude might actually win because he just talks about it. Like he might. I was talking about buying the New York Jets then. Like I'm a businessman. And when it was nerdy, like on some nerdy shit, I was selling baseball cards at lunch and people were making fun of me. Like my friends were like, yo, bro, like girls like you. Like, why are you doing this? That was like a real conversation for me. Like when my friends were like, some girls like you, but you're fucking it up. And they were like, you're fucking it up for us. I'm like, fuck you. Stand on your own feet. I'm selling baseball cards. They're like, you're going to be a nerd. I'm like, I do not give a fuck. But I thought then, and I was that kid, I'm painting you that picture, that story for that. I was like, okay, when I'm 60, when I'm 60, now people are like, yo, I'm gonna start a fucking TikTok, and if I don't pop in the first month, like what the fuck just happened? So I don't think we even knew that you could.
Right.
That's the difference. But people are taking the 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% and deploying it on themselves and not even understanding what would make them happy. Most people will tell you that got there, the most fun was getting there.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm most worried about is kids are believing the bullshit. This thing that I see from a lot of kids saying like, this whole generational warfare thing is fucked up. Us Gen Z kids are gonna be the first generation that doesn't make more money or more success than our parents. First of all, I know unlimited kids I grew up with, and we're Gen X, that are not more successful than their parents. Like, we make these blanket statements, and people believe them. You got kids walking around that are being told that they can't be successful, who've just decided they can't, and so they're depressed about it. And I'm like, that generalizations have nothing to do with you. Nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Please.
I agree with that. And I also think so many different generations have different things to offer. And when things are generalized too much, it's almost like you negate all the special things that the input that you could have from them, and you just kind of block it. Like you might think a certain generation is cringe, so you won't take their advice, but you don't understand that they have like decades on you.
And by the way, as if the world hasn't done a bad enough job separating us on gender and race and religion. Now we're selling each other that we don't like each other based on what generation. When I grew up, I didn't even know I was Gen X. I never heard Boomer. I didn't know, right? We didn't know about generations. That meant nothing. That was some shit maybe you heard in history class once. Now you've got 60-year-olds fighting 20-year-olds. You got 50-year-olds judging 20-year-olds when they made them. Maybe if you didn't give an 8th place trophy, your kid wouldn't be entitled. Like, but I'm so sick of us hating each other for being different. And we ran out of skin tone and gender and fucking like religion. So now we're on to the next thing to hate each other about. Like, fuck this shit. I love Gen Z. But what does that mean? Like, there's plenty of Gen Z kids that are working harder than anybody I've ever seen and are grinders, and there's plenty of Gen Z kids that are lazy. Good news. I know unlimited people in their 70s because I grew up and watched people who were lazy as fuck. As if every boomer worked their fucking ass off. Unlimited boomers were lazy as fuck. I saw them. And unlimited Gen Z kid, I got them. I've got a bunch of these kids on my team. Dustin's 40, but you know, like even though he looks 18, but like I'm being dead serious. He's fucking 39.
I cannot believe it.
It's fucking insane. Yeah, it's like my party trick. I bring them everywhere.
Wow.
But like these kids, like I look at them, they're fucking working their faces off. They're not lazy. They just have options. Gen Z is not lazy. Gen Z just knows the game. Sure. They can just sell some shit on. They don't want to work for you, Kmart, for $12 an hour. They can just sell some shit on eBay or stock. Like,
or
they got options.
Sure.
You guys have options, motherfucker. If I had the internet and social media when I was 15, fuck college, I would have not graduated middle school. Middle school. On the record, I would have jumped out in 5th grade and be like, peace. My mom would have beat my ass. I would have run away and built a fucking empire. That's what would have fucking happened. These kids got fucking options, motherfuckers. They don't want to work in the Verizon store for $9 or $18. They got fucking options. They can go to fucking Goodwill, buy 9 things, go home, make a TikTok video about it, put it on eBay, and make paper.
Yeah.
They got options. Of course, tons of them are lazy. Just like Gen Z has tons of lazy. So did Gen X. So did Boomers. And Gen Alpha that's coming up right now that's shitting on Gen Z. These 9-year-olds got opinions already. I don't know if you know about Gen Alpha.
Nah.
Yeah. I tell all my Boomer friends, I'm like, good news. You don't have to say anything about Gen Z. Gen Alpha, their younger siblings, they're shitting on them for being soft and fucking soft. Like, these 10-year-olds, you go into these fucking
Gen
forums.
Zs.
Yeah, Gen Z is having a field day right now shitting on everybody. Wait till Gen Alpha gets your ass. Gen Alpha's coming, Gen Z, and they're going to get your ass. And you're going to be caught. Like, Gen Z is having a field day shitting on everyone right now. Again, this is all generalizations. But it's going to be funny when Gen Alpha's biting her ass and the older get caught in that middle sandwich. We'll see what happens. Sure. Anyway, what else do we want to talk about before we bounce out of here?
Well, one last thing about that.
Anything.
I do think there is a disconnect, though, between older generations and younger generations. I don't know how it is in your family, but, like, for us, like, it was like respect your elders.
Oh, I love you for this.
Also, like, there's so much you can learn from people who are older than you. You know what I mean?
I'm hot on this.
But also, there is somewhat of an arrogance too from older. Not to generalize, but some older people that are like, I know everything.
Of course. I love razzing older people too. I'm on this kick. I think we've put youth on a pedestal too much, and we disrespect our elders too much. We lost our way. It used to be too far the other way. You know, when we were coming up the game back in the day, like, we didn't get any respect, and I already knew what the fuck I was doing, like, as a businessman, but we didn't get respect. Like, go get the coffee, don't do the real shit. I get it, but we've gone too far the other way. We got to find that middle. But yeah, there's nothing more fun than to shit on an 80-year-old who's spitting it, and I'm like, well, then why was your life miserable? I had family members like that trying to tell me how to live life. I'm like, nobody likes you. And you're deeply unhappy, and you've achieved no financial and or emotional success. The fuck am I listening to you, auntie? I'm being dead serious. I actually had those conversations. I'm being a little gangster right now, but when I was 15, 16, and my Russian immigrant elders tried to give me some game, and I was like, I'm not listening to you. You're sad. You like that? Right? Like it's real. Like, I always say this. I'm like, why are you listening to people that you don't want to be like?
Yeah.
For sure.
People do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give you guys the open floor. What do we want to talk about? Actually, let's go around the horn and tell. People have been asking, how do people who are listening live right now on Twitch, and please link it up for them. Can they put in links, or we don't allow that in Twitch? Okay, good. Please, how can people find you? What's your ad handle? Which platform?
So at mensweardog on Instagram.
Spell that out because I want people to know.
At MENSWEARDOG. He's a dog dressed in menswear. Like
Nightbot's doing it.
Pure, like free endorphins. Go check it out.
Love it.
Dope. On Instagram, it's at Obed Padilla _OBEDPADILLA.
Who's got the one without the underscore at the end?
Somebody else. I don't know.
You want me to get that shit for you?
Go hit him up for me, bro.
No, I mean some old like immigrant shit, like we show up at his house.
I will go with you.
Let's go. All right, go get Ken.
Alan King, ALANKING.
Did you have to buy that, Al? Or you got it from the get?
Oh, actually, very, very funny story about this.
Because you're too young to just have Alan King like that. I know there's something to this. Notice, I'm old. I know shit. There's no way you just picked that up when you finally got old enough. That shit was taken. Break it down for me.
Yeah, so I DM'd this kid who has Alan King, and he's like I think.
By the way, anyone notice his voice got younger? He's remembering his young self. You see that? His voice went different.
Yeah. And I was like, hey man, like I would really like your username. Is it possible you can give me it? And he's like, oh no, I would like to keep it. It's like, oh, what if I give you like $20? And he's like, okay.
$20, that's a deal.
The best part of this whole episode, you noticed it, right? He's like, you just went like 16 on us just now. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Big shout out to Tyler Schmidt, who you guys want. He has @Tyler.
Oh, I saw that.
Stop. That is legendary.
You know what's crazy? When I registered Twitter, I signed up for Twitter 4 months before I signed up for Twitter. I was in London in February. I think if you look at my account, I believe that I signed up in May of 2007. But what's crazy was, this is how crazy the world is. I was in London in February at a tech conference. It was my first one I ever went to. The first one. It was called FOA, Future of Web Apps. I'd never been to a tech conference in my life. I went to go check it out. And I'd never been to London, so I went. It was super cool. Big shout out Eric Kastner. Eric Kastner, my tech guy at winelibrary.com, went with me. He used to film my wine videos when I first came up. We go there and everyone's buzzing about Twitter. This is the thing. I'm like, all right. We went to the hotel room at 10 o'clock at night after like the conference and dinner with some people that we met there. And we both went to register our Twitter handle. And somehow the Wi-Fi in the hotel or something got fucked up and I wasn't able to register it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And I didn't. And then literally, no bullshit, it was like 3 months later that I signed up when it became obvious it was gonna pop. But what's crazy is when I registered in May, it was the first time in my life that I ever used the username GaryVee. Ever. I don't remember what I was trying to register in February, but what's crazy is that's how I popped off. And that became my brand.
That's fire.
Which is just fucking bananas. And I don't remember if @Gary was available, because it might have been. It was that early Twitter, or I was doing just @GaryVee, just the first letter. But that's how GaryVee happened on some technicality, on some bad Wi-Fi in a London hotel that didn't allow me to register Twitter. And then I had to do it 3 months later. When I say I have no idea why I put the 2 silent E's at the end, no clue. And to think about how that's manifested.
It's like future you being like
right? Look, VeeFriends, VeeFriends, none of, all, it's just so crazy. Anyway, I love that. $20 on a Twitter DM.
Yeah, Instagram DM.
Excuse me, I apologize. On Instagram DM. All right, what's your challenges right now? I have real passion for social media content. Obviously, all three of you have to be thinking about that at all times. Which platform in 2024 would you like to be better at that you're not popping off on right now for your business or your brand?
I'd like to be focusing on YouTube, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and sustaining and keeping Instagram strong.
Which is more of a challenge now because organic reach is harder because there's more supply and less consumption.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I would say YouTube and TikTok.
Are either one of those strong for you or not yet?
TikTok a little bit, but I think it's just the consistency and the amount.
Yep.
But that's just something that you're just doing it, you know?
Yeah, right now I'm really heavy on YouTube as well. I'm trying to build, I think it'd be really cool to see a brand being built, like fashion specifically, and kind of have the AdSense pay for a media person to help to run the brand. And I also want to build LinkedIn up. I feel like the LinkedIn on fashion side is
wide open,
untapped. Yeah.
Where are you sitting on live? So I'm obsessed right now for everybody to do more live. Hence, I eat my own dog food. I've known about Twitch from the day it was Justin TV. I know Justin. I've watched this platform explode over the last decade, and I root for it heavy. I wasn't doing gaming. I wasn't doing a lot of live. As soon as I knew I wanted to do this format to do new content, to put on some friends, just get some good vibes going, I knew that I wanted to be live on Twitch. I'm obsessed with TikTok Live. I think all three of you should build on TikTok Live. Where do you sit on going live and just chopping it up like a streamer. I think a lot more people need to use social media lives the way streamers use Twitch.
Yep.
Like everybody doesn't go live because they think they have to do something. I think you should go live while you're eating lunch.
Oh, that's what I do.
Tell me.
I do live sometimes on TikTok where it's just me eating and talking to people for like 2 hours.
And
as you know, and then my jeans are in the background because I'm usually in my showroom.
And what are you feeling from that? How often have you done it in the last 90 days? Real talk, don't bullshit.
It's been about
give me
maybe
the amount
2
of
times.
Yeah, you're
so
busy.
It's slowed down a bit.
Yeah. Do you agree with me that there's an incredible amount of discovery for your brand through that? Because what TikTok does, Instagram, when you go live, it pings your followers, they come on, and then the number goes down because it's hard to maintain the audience. They have other shit to do. TikTok, you go live, they keep pinging you into different feeds while you're live, so you're discovering new people. You agree?
Yeah. And when your videos
Everybody heard on Twitch? If you're trying to build your shit, because I know you are, please pay attention to that.
Yeah, and when your videos are trending, then and you go live, it also starts pinging you and showing those videos.
Yeah.
So at certain moments when my videos are going viral and I was really trying to grow on TikTok, I would just go on live for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
That's far.
TikTok Live to me right now is one of the best arbitrages, one of the best ways to day trade attention. All right, going around the horn for the end. Tell me anything that you wanted to talk about or you'd like to tell the audience or build on our conversations as we wrap up here.
So one thing I wanted to say today is serendipity. There is 0.0001% chance that 2 people born in the same time will meet each other. And the fact that we're all here today is pretty incredible. So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I love that.
Serendipity.
Is that, what's the number? You've looked that up?
0.0001%.
That people will meet.
That 2 people will meet if they were born like in the same era.
That's fucking cool.
Right?
I love that
And
shit.
then you think about how you meet people and it's so specific and so special. So I just thought that probability was crazy.
Thank you.
Awesome immigrant shit. I think it's so cool the amount of people who are here in this country whose parents came first, but are taking those lessons and all that stuff and doing something their own way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about right now.
I love that,
That's
brother. Honestly, so many of us are able to stand on the shoulders of our parents taking a big risk.
Yeah.
Take some of those old world values, but remix that shit with our contemporary world. I agree with that. I admire it heavy. It's why I love what's happening. You know the best place that happens? Fashion's a place, but the best place that happens in America is food. Like, people don't understand, like, the pizza is like a real immigrant story, and the hot dog is a real, like, German, like you know, like the bratwurst, like there's like people take for granted pizza. Like, I think we all know that, you know, sushi and Mexican food in the last 30 years popped off in America. You go back only 30 years ago. You go back to 1989, and like sushi and Mexican food wasn't like that in this country. Like, Taco Bell struggled for a long time, even as a fast food play. Now they're like essential cuisines for every single American. And I remind people when they talk about that, like, it's cool, like, or whatever their thoughts are, I'm like, that's what happened with the pizza. That's what happened with the hot dog. Like, these things that are like fries, like, this is a new country. Most shit was brought over. And so food is where I always look at to see that real impact on that.
Yeah. Bringing
that old recipe to the new world, tweaking it.
For sure.
You know? Thoughts, my man?
Yeah. I think about how everybody is on their own unique path, but it's like we all have this destination, but it's very it's very interesting how we all have very similar stories, even though it's just kind of like we've lived in a mirror, right? It's like, we have this very similar stories, very similar perspectives or different perspectives, but we also have our own unique end goals and where we want to be at. And but we all have grown up in this one earth and universe. It's very interesting to me to think about. Yeah. You
know, it's funny. I'll close with this. And thank you for everybody who's been watching. On a very similar note, I think we've become incredibly and uncomfortably selfish in our journey. I think we've really lost our way with neighbors. I'm really passionate about this. With VeeFriends, there's a reason it's called Friends. We have this saying, and this is what you just said, which is really a fun way to wrap, and what you just said. I believe that strangers become acquaintances, acquaintances become friends, and friends become family. And I think that is the most interesting journey of the human, in my opinion. And I believe that, you know, I love the internet. I love technology. I'm about it. But I'm incredibly aware that people in the 50s knew their neighbors different because you just went outside. There's only so much you could do inside. And I feel like we're on, to your point, we're on these journeys and we have a lot of similarities. And I feel like somewhere in the last 30, 40 years, we've lost respecting our elders and we've lost like caring about our neighbors. When I grew up in the 80s in Jersey, all my friends' moms were like my half moms. Back in the 80s, like your boy's mom could smack you too. Real talk. Like, I'm being dead serious. And you thought like, oh, I'm sorry, kind of mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we just like, could you imagine somebody doing that today in 2023? Lawsuits, news outlets. But that was like, no, like, please, everybody on the stream, if you grew up in the 70s or 80s or 60s, like, tell them how it was. Like, and so like, I just feel like, you know, love thou neighbor, like all that real, like heady, like religious shit. I think we've lost it. And I'm desperately, this is even in the meta, like I'm scarily interested in the three of you knowing each other. Just a little something. You don't even, like, even if it doesn't pop off right now, just seeing each other in a stream or at the airport and be like, yo, even like if you don't remember because it was 3 years from today and you're like, I know, oh shit, we were with GaryVee, right? Like, I think we need to fight for more of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I root for people heavy. And I think too many are booing everyone. Too much envy, too much jealousy, too much confusion that somebody else's flowers and success is coming from you. My friends, I promise you to wrap this up. Nobody's happiness and success is taken from you. You're taken from you. That mindset is what's taken from you. We need to flip it. Thank you three for being on.
Thank you for having us.